Hi guys, so I'm back out for a little ride again on this Mantis Mini, or known as the Mantis 8. I am really happy with this scooter, so I thought I'd just go for a couple of things. If anyone else is going to get one of these, maybe I can show you some pointers of where to start if you've got any issues, or you might not have any of these teething problems. But the first thing I want to say is the black caps you get on the wheel bolts. I'd recommend you mastic them on with a bit of black or clear silicone mastic, just a little dab just to hold them on. They will fall off almost immediately. I lost one within the first mile of riding the scooter the other day. I've only had the scooter a couple of days now. Same with my Light Plus model. I lost one or two on that almost straight away. So anyway, these green ones I've put on here, they're just off eBay. If you just search 17mm nut cap or nut cover, these are the silicone type, and because they're for car wheels, you get either 16 or 20 in a packet for less than £10, so pretty good on price. And like I said, I've just put a bit of mastic on them just to hold them in place. Now what I do want to talk about is, if you've seen my first video on this, you'll notice that the speedo was completely not accurate. It was saying I was doing like 20 miles an hour if I was doing over 30. Anyway, I contacted Kaabo UK. They did get back to me. They advised me to change two settings. P1 changed from 42.5 to 40, and P2 changed to 20. Now P2 is the setting that has fixed it. The speedo is now working accurately. I haven't checked it against the GPS yet, but it does seem like it's on par. But as to P1, they asked me to change that to 40. Now P1 is your voltage cutoff. So obviously I've questioned why they want me to change that to 40. So he put that in the same email on the reply when I said about the speedo having a problem. And they've basically got back to me today and said that they've known on their demonstrator unit, because obviously it's the new model out, that the battery life can decrease quite quickly, and changing that will rectify the issue basically. But obviously my concern with that is it dangerous? Am I running the batteries too low? So I've kept this on 42.5 for now. I do kind of understand what they might mean, because the way it works, the motors, when you're say under throttle, 4 throttles, especially with 2 motors, it draws the current right the way down in the voltage. So the voltage is going to fluctuate, and when you let off the accelerator, that voltage is going to go up by 2 or 3 or possibly more volts if you're in dual wheel mode. So I think what they might be saying is, if you put it from 42.5 to 40, when you've say got, I don't know, maybe 45 volts left in the battery, obviously when it's under load, you could easily fluctuate down to 41, 42 volts, which would normally cut off. So for that reason, they might say put it to 40 and you're going to get slightly more range, but it's still safe, because for you to hit that 40 volts, you've got to be under load anyway, at which point you're cut off. So that's that. But one more thing I've noticed, you won't see it on here now because I've ridden a mile or two from my house, but the voltage says 53.1 at the moment. Anyway, the voltage, when I charge this up, will only charge up to 54.1 volt. Now I've put a multimeter on the charger. It should be 54.6. That's the rating of the charger as well, and that's what's coming out of the charger, 54.6 volts. My Light Plus, that charges up to 54.6 volts. So obviously I've asked him that as well, and he's basically come back and said that's fine. Let us know if it gets any worse basically. So I'm gonna keep monitoring it. It hasn't improved yet, and I've gone through 3 cycle charges so far, because I've used this 3 times, charged it up 3 times. So what I would do want to see if it's just a case of balancing the cells, because what happens, it gets to 54.1 volts, the charger turns green, and it just doesn't seem to increase. But what I'm hoping to do, I'm hoping that after I've used it a few times, that some of the cells might be slightly off balance and it'll bring it back up, so I'll keep an eye on that. But anyway, here we go, let's have some riding footage showing. Absolutely love these brakes on here compared to that Light Plus. Yeah, these are the next level. They are cable actuators, but obviously they've got hydraulic pistons in them, but yeah, you pull too tight, it just literally locks up. I'm well chuffed with the extra power as well. Especially with my weight, it accelerates a lot quicker. Like I said in my first video on this the other day, obviously these are 8-inch wheels, not 10. They do have tubeless tyres, which is a great benefit as well. But the ride is a lot firmer, being the smaller wheels, and probably less travel in the suspension. Well, the suspension actually, even with my weight on the plus side of 115 kilograms, I've got to jump on this thing to make the suspension work. You can probably adjust it by loosening the main bolt that goes up through the spring, but for me, I'm going to keep it like this. I'd rather a bumpier ride than obviously on my other model that used to bottom out, certainly down here going through the bumps, but with this, absolutely fine. Just got to handle the bumps a bit better. I don't know if you can hear that ting, ting, ting. For some reason, with this one, I didn't get it with the bigger Mantis, but there's all going on gravel or whatever. There's always little stones banging up on the rear disc brake by the sound of it. Whenever you go over any loose kind of stones or whatever. Apparently it was supposed to rain today, but so far so good. Well, when I was at work earlier, about 50-60 miles away, yeah, it was hammering down there. Come home and yeah, it's alright. Obviously some scooters are IP rated and waterproof, most aren't. This isn't. Obviously there's people that commute on scooters, so for them they have to use it. Obviously I've got the choice, more for pleasure than anything I use the scooters for. So yeah, if it's raining, I don't go out. Simple as that. I have been caught out a few times with my other scooters out in the rain, and try and get back as quick as possible, or get some shelter if it's not going to be raining for long. So my plan when I get home shortly is to charge this up to full, or at least 54.1 volts in this scenario. Yeah, charge up to full and get a range test done later. Cheers. For an actual range test, and probably worst case scenario, because obviously I'm on the upper end of the scales of a rider's weight to ride this thing. Plus, around here where I live, there's a hell of a lot of hills. Nothing's hardly flat, certainly the roads. So I'll get that Relive app open later. Speed 3, dual motor all the way, and just see what kind of ratings we can get. I don't want to run out and push home. As long as I can get close to the cut-off voltage, I'll be happy, and we'll see what kind of miles we can get. Instead of going down the track, we're going down the roadway this time. Yeah, overall with this scooter, guys, comparing it to the Kaabo Light Plus, Mantis Light Plus, single 800 watt motor on the rear only. This is dual 800 watt. Big difference. On paper they're the same, 30 mile an hour on speed. So for the lighter rider, you might not notice that much difference, and you might be all right with the Light Plus. Well, it is all right. It was all right for me. It was just I want to get through some more scooters for the channel, and plus when you get used to something, you're like, yeah, I want something a bit faster. Well, that's what I'm like anyway. So yeah, for a lighter rider, you'll probably be fine on the Light Plus. But for a heavier rider, yes, I can get almost 30 mile an hour out of the Light Plus, but this thing is 30 mile an hour, not almost 30 mile an hour, in fact just over. And the speed it gets there in dual motor mode is, yeah, is fast. Like I said, you put it on single motor mode though, it's not quite as powerful as the other one. Right, let's go. Getting a little bit windy now. One hell of a horrible road. If you can call it a road. That's in single motor mode now. That's full throttle, that is speed 3. You can see it's a lot less powerful, a lot slower. Well, it's not a lot slower actually. I have found with this, if you want to save a bit of battery, you're going up a hill, you're accelerating away and you want to get off moving fast, put it in dual motor mode, accelerate, stick it into single motor mode, which is change on the fly as you're accelerating, and then you'll kind of maintain your speed with the one single motor. As long as it's flat or only a slight incline, you're not going anywhere up too steep. Right, I think that's about it for this video, guys. Just want to do a short little video with some helpful tips at the start. A little bit more actual riding footage. Everything real time, nothing sped up, slowed down or anything like that. I'm gonna go back now, like I said, charge it up, and I'll be hopefully doing a range test later, so that'll be on the channel shortly. In fact, that video might be up before this one. Anyway, please like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell button if you want notifications when I upload new content, and I'll see you all later.